Jon Krawczynski is trying to tell me that Karl Anthony Towns went on a podcast in the offseason and didn't make anybody's head explode. I don't really believe it, but we'll let Jon explain. This is his show. This is the Jon Krawczynski Show, part of TalkNorth.com. This is our show about the Timberwolves, the NBA, all things basketball related. We're coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services Studios. I want to thank our many sponsors, Princeton's Liquors, Lamb Chops, Shepherd Goods and Lamb Chops Clothing Line, True Vision Institute, and TSR Injury Law, longtime sponsors. We appreciate all of them. And if you like this show or any show at TalkNorth.com, please subscribe to your favorite podcast app. It's free. It's the easiest way to listen. Also, check out Jon and myself on the Viking Update Show, where we give the writer's view of the Vikings. We also have Jeff Diamond's Vikings NFL Insider to provide the former general manager's view of the Vikings. All right, let's start out with what Kat had to say this time around.
Yeah, like Jim, we've kind of tried to, over the last probably year or so, document and illustrate the steps that this team has made to become more competitive, to mature as a group, to kind of get away from some of the silliness and some of the drama that has plagued it for 2 decades. But I think, like, you hit it on the head to start this thing. Maybe one of the most encouraging signs of that progress is that Karl Anthony Towns was on the Paul George podcast P, and did not say something that was going to just get the NBA Twitter sphere making fun of him, rolling their eyes at him, parsing his words unfairly, whatever you want to call it. And just saying, what is this guy talking about? It was a very, he and George are really good friends. So it was a good conversation, but the kind of the big things that came out of it that we can get into a little bit. He talked about his relationship with Ant, and he talked a little bit about kind of some of the health issues, the knee issues that he was having towards the end of the playoffs and how he was playing through that. I think those were some of the major takeaways. And it wasn't, hey, the Wolves were actually, what they accomplished was better than the Nuggets winning the championship. It wasn't, a lot of things that he said last summer that got people just really saying, come on, Karl, what are you doing? So overall, big picture, real progress there for Karl Anthony Towns in the public appearance section of his career.
It means we got to talk about other stuff other than what Karl has said recently, though. It makes our jobs much harder, Jon.
It does. But I did think, though, actually, that I was very interested that that he got into his relationship with Ant on the podcast, because we have seen really over the last several years the way that the NBA kind of media machine works is it looks for reasons to sow discord, to create drama, to manufacture conflict. And sometimes it doesn't have to manufacture it. Sometimes the conflict is right there. But in this case, with the Timberwolves, it has often been set up as Anthony Edwards is ascending. He's going to surpass Karl Anthony Towns. How is Cat, this, image conscious player, this proud guy who's been here forever, how is he going to handle the changing of the guard with the franchise? And where's the jealousy going to come in? Where is the selfishness and that sort of thing? There's just, everyone's been expecting that, and not everyone, but there's been a lot of people that have just been waiting for Karl to say, I don't like this, get me out of here. This is Ant's team, that's BS, that kind of stuff. But what Karl really got into and what he expressed is kind of what I have said on this podcast, at The Athletic for a long time, is that actually Karl really wants Ant to succeed. Like, he is generally happy that Edwards is having all of this attention put on him, that it is helping this team rise to another level competitively, that Ant is getting his money, that he's getting the attention, all of those things. And it all goes back, Jim, to the way that Ant entered this franchise and how he has been so respectful of Kat, how he has interacted with Kat, how he's made Kat feel like the big brother in this relationship, and how he has kind of stood tall and defended Kat against the criticisms that he gets. These two have a good relationship where Kat, I don't think, feels threatened by Ant's success. Now, is there deep down inside of him a little part that probably wants the light to shine on him even a little bit more? There probably is that. That's human nature. But in general, what Kat wants is he wants to win because he knows that when the Timberwolves win, that improves his own standing as well as the team's. And so if Ant is helping deliver that and taking some of the pressure off of him to lead this team, I think that's a win-win for everyone involved. So all of that so far, and things can change, but as of now, all of that sort of expected tension is not been there for the most part. It's been Kat embracing Ant respecting Kat, and the two of them working together as a duo and doing it the right way.
Yeah, and he's allowed to have private feelings.
Of course.
He's allowed to feel like, oh man, I thought I was going to be the superstar, and Ant took it over. I mean, it really doesn't matter whether he has those private feelings or not, as long as he handles himself professionally. He's been nothing but professional.
Yeah, absolutely. He's like, at every turn, he has kind of spoken up for Ant, and like, look, Ant can be the face of this league. Ant can be one of the best players of all time. He is saying all of this stuff, and it cannot be lost on us that a lot of these things that he is saying about Ant were said about him when he was first, second year in the league, and when he was the number one overall pick. And a lot of a lot of the conversation around Karl Anthony Towns was, this is the next big guy. And he has had a very good career. He's made all-star teams. He's made all NBAs. This year, he got to the Western Conference Finals and played a huge role in beating Phoenix and in beating Denver. Didn't play as well against Dallas, but he's done very, very well for himself. But I don't think he's quite been what maybe it looked like he was going to be in those first couple of years. Whereas Ant has had more success early on in his career that I think is kind of fueling this optimism that, no, actually, this is the guy. Like, this is the one that the Wolves have been waiting for. In fairness to Kat, he never had teammates when he was younger that was as good as what Ant has with Kat, with Rudy, with Mike Conley, with Jaden McDaniels, with all these guys. So there is a little bit more of a situation where Ant just has a better team. He has a more stable front office and coaching staff. Everything is coming together around him in a way to help produce the success that Kat never had early in his career. But there's still no question that that Ant has ascended to this higher plane in terms of NBA stardom right now. And yeah, I think that I would be surprised actually if Kat in some ways, when he's having a glass of wine at his house late at night, sometimes doesn't think, that could have been me, or, it should be me or something like that. But when you watch the two of them interact, what Kat has always wanted here as a wingman, as a partner in crime, however you want to determine it, he's wanted someone who he felt was all in with him and respected him. Obviously, that wasn't the case with Jimmy Butler. Even some of the other guys who have come through here, D'Angelo, Ricky Rubio, even several other guys, they haven't been good enough talent-wise to be that guy to help him along with it. And this with Ant is the combination of a guy who has proven to have his back publicly, and respect him publicly and be there for him when he needed him. And then also too is supremely talented in a way that no other teammate that Kat has had is. So, you put those two things together and now they're having the team success, and that helps to validate Kat's career in a different way. And so everyone's benefiting from this right now. And so I think that's the key takeaway. And that's what Cat has been trying to tell us for several years. Like, look, I'm fine with it as long as we're going in the right direction. They are going in the right direction. So he's being pretty welcoming, pretty easygoing in terms of this sort of jockeying for position within the franchise.
Two more big topics in today's show. We're going to talk about Anthony Edwards, what's going on with him right now, and also John has a story about Naz Reid that I think you'll be very interested in, burnishing the legend that is Naz Reid. First, though, tell us about Princeton's Liquors.
Princeton's Liquors in Maple Grove, Bill Princeton, the Princeton family, they've been in business slinging booze in the metro area for decades and decades. They're locally owned. They're a community store. So we like to support locally owned people. And also Bill Princeton, deep ties to the Timberwolves and Lynx organizations. He was an intern in 2000, 2001. He wore the Crunch mascot costume in those summers. And so he's just been deeply ingrained in the basketball community as well for this long. If you want great craft beer selection, if you want great bourbon selection, if you want THC seltzers and gummies, Princeton's Liquors in Maple Grove is the place to go. Unbelievable selection, high-end stuff, affordable stuff, whatever you're looking for in any kind of facet of the adult beverage industry. They have you covered. Go on into Princeton's Liquors. Tell them to the Jon Krawczynski Show sent you.
Another company you're personally aligned with, True Vision Institute.
True Vision Institute in Bloomington. I'm almost 3 weeks into LASIK surgery, and it's changed my life. It really has. You know, I had skepticism when I heard other people telling me about what a difference it makes when you have LASIK. And I was always just like, come on, man, it can't be that good. And I'm telling you, it has been that good. I had it 3 weeks ago. I'm seeing clearly, no issues whatsoever. I was able to take my kids to the water park last weekend and dive into the deep end of the pool, not worrying about my glasses falling off if I was wearing those. Back in the day when I would wear contacts and go swimming, those things would get all gummy and it would be super uncomfortable. I have none of those issues. I could just dive in. I had no problems swimming, kind of, you know, being able to see everything and watch my kids just having the times of their lives as well. And so being able to be that active and also just not having to pay for glasses and contacts every couple of years, having to go in for your eye exams and doing all that. What a relief it's been. Dr. Chu at True Vision is great in the surgery room, keeping you calm, getting you through everything. All of the people around him are so welcoming and so friendly. They will take care of you. So go to truevision.com to set up a consultation. Tell them the Jon Krawczynski Show sent you.
Reminder, we're coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services Studios. We want to thank Aquarius Home Services.
Scott for Aquarius Home Services. We all know our weather can be unpredictable, especially with our summer storms and hot and muggy temps. Be worry-free with a generator providing reliable whole home backup power to keep the lights on and your home cool and comfy. Plus, be sure your sump pump is ready to handle those heavy summer rains. For all your plumbing and electrical needs, we're just a click away at AquariusHomeservices.com. Aquarius, earning the right to be recommended.
All right, let's get to Anthony Edwards. What's up with him right now?
Yeah, he's back in town. So this week, the Wolves have had a bunch of guys in. Naz Reid's been in, Jade McDaniels, Anthony Edwards, Rob Dillingham. A lot of the young guys are coming in and getting workouts ahead of kind of after Labor Day is when everyone gets back in and generally a little bit more of a full squad kind of semi-formal workouts begin, not team led, but just like player led. And so we're getting to that point where it's going to be go time. Next week will be a blackout week at the gym. No one will be here, but you're seeing guys come in and get work in and starting to get ready for the season. And that's exciting. And to see Anthony Edwards being here, that's a big deal. He's coming off of the Olympic run. And yet here he is back in the gym, back in Minnesota, getting some work in and being around the guys. There is just so much anticipation, Jim, for what version of Anthony Edwards they're going to get coming off of the Olympic experience, spending all that time with KD, with LeBron, with Steph, with everyone there, and just seeing where that sort of takes him from a vocal leadership standpoint, in addition to his game, is kind of, I think, what everyone is sort of wanting to see. Like, how does he come off of that experience, and how does he kind of handle and conduct himself? But having him here in town, getting some stuff done, talking to his teammates and starting that leadership role, I think is a really good sign. And I'm sure we'll see more of him right after Labor Day as well.
Is there any sign at all that Anthony Edwards will have trouble with heightened expectations?
So I don't think the expectations at all, Jim. I think that's the least of my concerns for him, because I do think that this is an organization in general that is not used to having these expectations and having real stakes. And so there might be some adjustment period for them, with more national TV games, with, greater odds of winning a title, all of those things that can put a lot of stress on a lot of facets of the organization, maybe some players, maybe some coaches. But I think everything just rolls off of his back that way in such a way that I don't think he's ever going to be cowed by the pressure. Like, I think he wants that. I think that he is, he looks forward to that. And I think that if you're the Timberwolves and you're looking at making this organization some kind of a destination and a place that other players want to come play, and that players who are here want to stay for a very long time, having those expectations is a good thing. Like, that's what it should be. The one thing that I'm going to be watching for, Jim, is sort of how does he carry himself coming off of this big triumph, because he was a big part of Team USA, of that run. He played big minutes. He did not play as well in the last two games in the medal round, and wasn't as prominently featured as he had been. It was much more Steph, KD, LeBron, and that, all those guys kind of taking things over. But he was a big deal. And he certainly did spend a lot of time around some of the greatest players of this or any other generation. And so if he takes all of the good things from like KD, from LeBron, from Steph, and melds them into his overall personality, I think that's going to be great. I think that's just going to go take him to another stratosphere. You do look at, hey, KD has had some kind of rocky experiences with Brooklyn. Phoenix was a little bit shaky when he got there. The end of the Golden State era was a little messy. So you have that. You have, LeBron does things his own way and really rules with an iron fist any organization that he takes over. What does Ant incorporate, I guess, from those guys? If it's just the work ethic, if it's the love of the game, if it's the commitment to getting better, man, that's going to be awesome. And he's going to take off in a way that is just great. The trickier side of this is the leadership side of it. And Ant has definitely gotten more vocal over the last year or so. He's asserted himself more in this thing, but now he has this gold medal around his neck. Now he's been stamped, and now he's spent all of this time around these great players. So if he can keep his general personality, which everyone loves and which makes every teammate just want to follow him, and incorporate the work ethic and the approach and the commitment to the game of those greats, then you're going to be awesome. If he kind of comes in as like, hey, I've won the gold medal. I've been around, LeBron, Steph, KD, they all love me. You guys better get in line kind of thing. That can be a little bit of a trickier situation. I'm not saying he will do that at all. I'm just wondering and watching how that leadership part of things goes and what kind of just the way that he carries himself coming off of that experience.
Yep, be interesting to watch. All right, John has a special Naz Reid story to share with you. First, though, I want to let you know about TSR Injury Law, 612 TSR Time. You know the deal. They've been great to us. They will be great for you if you ever need their services. Call 612 TSR Time, 612 TSR Time. We don't want you to need that number, but if you need the number, you need really good help, really good ethical, intelligent, aggressive representation. That's what they can give you. They will not charge you unless they win your case, and they win a lot of cases. That's why they get to hang out with Naz Reid and put up billboards all over the city. One of Minnesota's great business success stories, because they take care of people. 612 TSR Time, 612 TSR Time. Now let's hear more about our friends from Shepherd Goods and Lamb Chops clothing line.
SGLambchops.com is the place to go for some of the most stylish, affordable, high quality casual wear that you're going to find. Hoodies, shorts, t-shirts, hats, all at Lamb Chops, Shepherd Goods and Lamb Chops clothing. If you go there to the website, JONK20 for 20% off anything that you can get there. Another local company that is deeply embedded in the community here in the Twin Cities. Jordan and Craig are at Lynx games. They're at Timberwolves games. They are out and about in the community all of the time, engaging. And so we like to support community companies here at Talk North and at the Jon Krawczynski Show. And SGLambchops.com, Shepherd Goods and Lamb Chops clothing, just great people, but great clothing. I love their shorts. They're my favorite pairs of shorts that I have. Their hoodies are super comfortable. Their sweatpants, you could wear them anywhere. You could wear them out on the town. You can wear them at home lounging around. It's just great, great stuff. So go to sglambchops.com. Use the promo code JONK20 for 20% off your order. Shepherd Goods and Lamb Chops clothing.
So Naz Reid has become something of a folk hero, and it sounds like your latest story burnishes that reputation.
Yeah, it's really cool. So we've kind of talked a lot about Naz's rise to fame here locally, and the unbelievable support that he has, and the way that people have gotten behind kind of his rags to riches NBA story, coming in as an undrafted rookie free agent, working his way all the way up to sixth man of the year, and just, one of the very most popular players and athletes in the Twin Cities. And Naz has leveraged all of that into a great contract, and millions of dollars. He's leveraged it into an important and critical role on a team that went to the Western Conference Finals. But maybe the best thing that he has done since kind of bursting onto the scene and leveraging that play is about to be unveiled. And you can see it at the story at The Athletic, at theathletic.com. But a couple of weeks ago, Naz met with a family from Virginia, the Addison family. They flew in from the state of Virginia, not Virginia on the Iron Range. And they have a little boy named Caden, who is 7 years old, and he has an extremely rare form of leukemia that only affects about 3% of the population. He has kind of battled with this disease for the last 4 years, in and out of hospitals, sometimes spending more than a month at a time in the hospital while he's getting treatment. It has kind of gone into remission and come back over and over again. And so Naz got linked up with him through NMDP, which is formerly Be the Match. And it's a donor registry for bone marrow and stem cell donors to register. And because Caden, to get rid of this cancer, needs a stem cell transplant. And so Naz has a deep history with this kind of thing in his extended family. Chris Hine wrote a really good story about it at the Star Tribune. I talked to Naz about it as well. Rudy Roundtree was a father figure to him back in Jersey, followed him to Louisiana State and to Minnesota. Really, Rudy and Sheila kind of were like co-parents almost, essentially, with Naz's mother, and looked after him, helped him off the court, were there for him to support him at games and at arenas. And Naz just really looked up to Rudy, and Rudy died in 2022 from cancer. And while he was in the hospital, he was hoping to get on the donor list so he could get a bone marrow transplant, and that could give him a chance to survive. He was not able to get strong enough to qualify to be on that registry, and so he passed away before that happened. But it was a loss that just deeply affected Naz, right to his core. And so, not long after he passed, and as Naz further established himself in the NBA, Naz and Sheila really kind of set a goal of, hey, we want to help out with cancer research, with donor registry, and raising awareness and about the need to find people to sign up to be bone marrow and stem cell donors. And so they got linked up with NMDP, and so Naz is kind of shooting some commercials for them. There is an event at September 21st called on World Marrow Donor Day, to help raise awareness. They're going to host events in Minneapolis, New York, and Los Angeles with celebrities. Naz is a celebrity here, and so it was really cool to see Naz start to put his fame to good use. And the interactions that he had with Caden, who will turn 8 in September, he's just this little ball of energy, was really, touching. He kind of played some basketball with Naz at the Timberwolves practice facility. Naz lifted him up and let him dunk a couple of balls. And you could just see how grateful Caden's parents were that Naz is throwing his name into this, that is trying to get more people to register at nmdp.com. And then what I learned through this, Jim, is not only just register to donate, but if you get matched up with someone who needs it, saying yes to the donation. Because what I learned, Jim, was that only 42% of the people who are on the registry, when they get called and say, hey, we've matched you with someone who needs some bone marrow, are you ready to do this? Only 42%